Hey class, I hope everyone's having a great day, and I hope that you are enjoying your art class so far. Today, we're going to be talking about early and high Renaissance. We are going to compare and contrast the early and high Renaissance art. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to as well. This presentation is going to discuss what we can use to distinguish Renaissance arts. In between the two stages of the Renaissance, the artists changed their styles and techniques. We are going to discuss different artists and their artworks. Now, we're going to talk about early Renaissance time. The early Renaissance was from 1400 to 1495. The artist focused on realism and naturalism. It promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, and art. It was a period in Europe's history that built a bridge between art and history. Now we're going to talk about early Renaissance artists. A few artists from the early Renaissance were Sandro, Donatello, and Masaccio. The founder of Renaissance painting was Masaccio. He was further developed by other artists. He painted the Tribute Money, Holy Trinity, and many other paintings. I'm going to show you a couple pictures of Renaissance art. This here is a man with what it looks like a dying person laying in their lap. It is named the Pieta. Michelangelo carved this with marble. It now sits in St. Peter's Basilica. This here is an art that you may seem familiar. It is a big part of the Christian religion. This is Jesus and the 12 disciples at the Last Supper. It is called the Last Supper. The artist that painted this is Leonardo da Vinci. He used tempera, gesso, mastic, and pitch. It is located in Santa Maria delle Grazie. The high Renaissance time was from about 1490 to 1527. Art flourished for about 35 years during this time. This art was known for having reached the pinnacle, or zenith, of artistic works created. The most common things of this time were religious scenes. A few high Renaissance artists were Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and Lorenzo Lotto. It was a short period of time, most exceptional artist production in the Italian states, particularly Rome, capital of the Papal States, and in Florence. Now, we're going to talk about high Renaissance art. I'm going to show you a couple examples. This here is the Last Judgment. This is a bunch of pictures all painted to fill the top of this building. They all together make one big picture. The artist that painted this used paint and plaster. His name is Michelangelo. It took him from 1535 all the way until 1541 to paint. This is the Disputation of the Holy Sacrament. The artist that painted this is Raphael. It took him only 1 year, from 1509 to 1510, to create. The media he used was fresco. One example of contrasting Renaissance art. During the High Renaissance, artists focused more on the beautiful parts of the art and forgot about the certain design principles. The Low Renaissance followed the rules more and was more technical. Another example of contrasting Renaissance art. The late Renaissance was the period when the Renaissance began to transition to Baroque. It was marked by the Protestant Reformation, an artistic style known as Mannerism, and the continued development of science and humanism. The last example of contrasting Renaissance art. Early Renaissance painting strove to achieve greater realism in their works. In contrast to the flat, stiff images of Byzantine art, faces now became more lifelike. Bodies were painted in more realistic postures and poses, and figures began to express real emotion. The Renaissance was a big time for art. They discovered many things about art and their techniques. They strove for the best and flourished with their artistic works. Here are some citations that are used throughout the slides.